It was a big margin of victory in Florida for Mitt Romney. In case you missed it, here are the results. Mitt Romney got 46% of the vote, 32% for Newt Gingrich, 13% for Rick Santorum, and it was Ron Paul who came in with 7% of the vote. The former Massachusetts governor, Mitt Romney, joins me from Tampa this morning. Nice to see you, sir. Congratulations are in order for you. We appreciate you being with us. How are you feeling as you move forward and you see those results?
Well, Soledad, that feels pretty darn good. Florida, in some respects, is a microcosm of the nation, in part because so many people move here in their retirement years. We got good support here. Actually, I understand a record number of votes in a Republican primary, so I'm pretty pleased.
So let's talk about things that may be less pleasing. If you look at exit polling on conservatives and exit polling on Tea Partiers, you lost both of those categories to Newt Gingrich. How do you get them?
Actually, we won both conservatives and Tea Partiers in Florida. So I'm pretty pleased that we had good support here. We were also able to do very well with Hispanic voters. I think last time I ran, I got 14% of the Hispanic vote. This time, 54%. The difference is that people care about the economy, and they understand that that's been my background. They really don't think that people who spent their entire life working in Washington are prepared to take on the problem of getting our economy strong again.
Okay, but when I talk about Tea Party and conservatives, I guess I should clarify very conservative and strong Tea Partiers. When you look at that focus, which is a very energized and core group of the party you are trying to represent, they went with the other guy. How do you get them?
Well, you know, I have to make sure I get the majority in each state I go to. And so I want to have good support from the Tea Partiers and from conservatives. But I recognize there may be some who decide to go elsewhere. That's the nature of the process. But if I can keep winning and getting the delegates and I become our nominee, and I want to make sure that people know who I am, what I stand for. I'm not going to try and veer to one direction or another, trying to get one group or another.
You know, Newt Gingrich, he gave a speech, but it wasn't really a concession speech, and he didn't give a concession call. Did that offend you, upset you in any way, shape, or form?
No, this, as has been said long ago, politics ain't beanbags. You know, we're battling to become the nominee. He's going to do it the way he thinks is best. I'll do it the way I think is best. So far, my process has given me a good start. I know we're going to go on. But I'm feeling pretty good at this point, Soledad. I really do think the American people do not want to take us into the politics of Washington and the practices of Washington. They want to take us in a direction that gets this economy going again, and we really change the way Washington works fundamentally. I've
never heard that. Politics ain't beanbags. I'm going to write that down so I can throw that at some other people one day. You said, and we played a little clip of it from your speech last night, you said, listen, a competitive primary does not divide us, it prepares us, and we will win. But isn't there a downside to all this negativity? When you look at independents' opinion of you, and I think we have a graphic of this, the favorable has only gone up 1% since December, and the unfavorable, it's 20% increase since December. Doesn't that seem to be a very big problem among independents who often decide a race in the general election?
Well, I think if there were some way of having no negative ever launched against you, even by the Democrats, why the argument might make sense. But frankly, I know that if I'm the nominee, Barack Obama is going to spend almost $1 billion attacking me. So you might as well get it out there now, learn how to respond, and make sure that we're able to get back to the real issue people care about when the time of the general election comes around. And that real issue is how to get America's economy so strong that we're creating jobs for people again, and how to change Washington from becoming the, if you will, the bloated beast that's taking over a larger and larger part of our life.
Do you get distracted?
Those kinds of issues, I think, are what'll win.
Do you get distracted from that conversation when you have someone like Newt Gingrich saying, yeah, I'm going to stay in the race, 46 states yet to go, so you don't really get to have a conversation with President Obama. You end up having a sort of a battle on two fronts. That's got to be not a good thing.
Well, you know, you take what comes. Each candidate has the right to stay in the race as long as they want to. You know, I welcome the fact that we're going to be honing our message and battling against the attacks that'll come. But I recognize that this is going to be a long road, and particularly if Speaker Gingrich and Rick Santorum and Ron Paul want to go on a long way, why, I certainly want to go on a long way. I want to go all the way to the convention as a winner. And so we'll take what comes and be prepared for President Obama, who will do everything in his power not to talk about his record. And the truth is, he has failed the American people. He's lost more jobs during his presidency than any other president, I believe, in history. Home values down during his presidency. He doesn't want to talk about that, but that's what we're going to talk about.
It might be challenging to get that conversation going if you have a prolonged battle. And if you look historically, when Republicans are in these prolonged battles for the nomination, it actually bodes poorly for them in the general election, right? I mean, I think it's only Eisenhower in 1952 who was able to emerge victorious. The same is not true on the Democratic side. You sound very not concerned about it, but the statistics would say maybe you want to be concerned about it.
Well, I guess I'm very concerned about things I can change, but I can't possibly suggest that I'm going to tell somebody else in the race what's right for them. They have to pursue the course that's best for them. And I think with regards to winning in November, it's going to come down to whether people want to have Barack Obama, who's been extraordinarily unsuccessful and inexperienced, continue to lead a nation at a critical time, both internationally with the threat of Iran, as well as domestically with an economy that continues to bump along the bottom.
When I was in Florida, we were absolutely just hammered with those ads. I mean, literally, it was an incredible thing. And now we know that that was the most negative ads ever in the history of forever, something like 92, 93% negative ads. When you look at the spending for ads in the campaign, you just killed it, really. Your campaign spent just about $9 million. Your super PAC over $10 million and 13,000 ads compared to Newt Gingrich. You saw the number up there, 200 ads. Is this what we're going to see as we move toward through the rest of the primary season and into the general election, just money flooding with negative ads, and that's going to be the tone of this entire campaign?
Well, you are going to see us talking about the contrast between me and the other people in the race.
That's a yes.
When we were in South Carolina, when we were in South Carolina, I was vastly overspent with negative ads attacking me, and we sat back saying a positive message focused on President Obama would be just fine. And I got beaten there. And we said, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And so our campaign made sure that we were more pointed in our message and pointing out the differences between me and Speaker Gingrich and our respective records. As to what the various PACs do out there, there's not much I can do about that. I can't tell them where to go or where to spend their money. Obviously, the reading was that the PAC, super PAC that supported Speaker Gingrich, which is financed by Sheldon Adelson, the thought was it was going to spend a lot more money here in Florida. My guess is it's saving its powder for races in Nevada and other places to come.
Let me ask you a final question. And there's a poll that came out of Pew that says, understanding the needs of average Americans, and President Obama rates at 55% in this poll, and you come in at 39%. And the conservative writer Kathleen Parker wrote about, it's that Romney can't connect with the people, as has been, it isn't that Romney can't connect with the people, as has been pronounced repeatedly. It's that the people cannot connect with him. This also explains why the far less perfect Newt Gingrich can attract support against all reason. How do you fix that?
Just let people get to know you better. The nice thing about what happened here in Florida is that I got a chance to go across the state, meet with people. They heard what I'm concerned about. They understand how I will be able to make things better. I think people want someone who not just throws an incendiary bomb from time to time, but someone who actually knows what it takes to improve their life, to get home values rising again, to get jobs again in this country, to make sure that when soldiers come home, they have a job waiting for them, to make sure that people who are retired don't have to worry about what's going to happen at the end of the week. This is a time people are worried, they're frightened, they want someone who they have confidence in, and I believe I will be able to instill that confidence in the American people. And by the way, I'm in this race because I care about Americans. I'm not concerned about the very poor. We have a safety net there. If it needs a repair, I'll fix it. I'm not concerned about the very rich. They're doing just fine. I'm concerned about the very heart of America, the 95% of Americans who right now are struggling, and I'll continue to take that message across the nation.
All right, I know I said last question, but I got to ask you. You just said, I'm not concerned about the very poor because they have a safety net. And I think there are lots of very poor Americans who are struggling who would say, that sounds odd. Can you explain that?
Well, you had to finish the sentence, Soledad. I said, I'm not concerned about the very poor that have a safety net, but if it has holes in it, I will repair them.
Got it. Okay.
The challenge right now, we will hear from the Democrat Party the plight of the poor, and there's no question it's not good being poor, and we have a safety net to help those that are very poor. But my campaign is focused on middle-income Americans. My campaign, I mean, you can choose where to focus. You can focus on the rich. That's not my focus. You can focus on the very poor. That's not my focus. My focus is on middle-income Americans, retirees living on Social Security, people who can't find work, folks that have kids that are getting ready to go to college. These are the people who've been most badly hurt during the Obama years. We have a very ample safety net, and we can talk about whether it needs to be strengthened or whether there are holes in it, but we have food stamps, we have Medicaid, we have housing vouchers, we have programs to help the poor. But the middle-income Americans, they're the folks that are really struggling right now, and they need someone that can help get this economy going for them.
All right. Mitt Romney, congratulations to you on your big victory last night. Thanks for talking with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Soledad.
Still ahead this morning.